Hey everyone, I'm rather incoherent, and we're still doing Bloodborne alpha testing. One of the scenarios I played on the channel, I played hideously incorrectly, cheated in multiple different ways, and still barely beat the Doom clock. I'm convinced that was just an alarming underperformance by Diana and Skids, or possibly the scenario scales against the players very badly with player count. And looking at the scenario, there is a lot of flat action attacks, so it'll be less bad in a larger player count, but not really that much, so I really want to replay Scenario number 5, the Altar of Despair. Originally, I was just going to speed run through this off the channel, exact same decks, but I played this with my tabletop group yesterday, and we had a specific way the scenario rolled. The first time I played this, I held out on all of the alpha testing, really. I held off on criticizing things for the way they are innately, without having played it multiple times. I didn't focus on balance unless it was egregiously doing nothing or doing way too much. And with this scenario, I didn't really understand what randomizing the pictures did. I understood that it would change where the keys were, and that would change where I needed to go, and that essentially determined how long I would have to explore via randomness, but that doesn't seem like a thing worth doing. And now, having played a specific variant of this, a specific way the acts and the portraits can roll, I'm going to rig the deck. We're playing with the act I chose, with the portraits I chose, to show you what happened off the channel and make a case and a future feedback video for why I think it should happen every time. Don't let it be random, make this specific thing happen. And the thing I'm rigging is I'm having Act 3 be Portrait of the Headmaster, so that when you get the final objective, it'll be right next to the orphanage where all of the aliens are spawning and gaining Hunter from the final agenda. Additionally, I'm going to have that be at the very bottom of the tower, so that you have to backtrack through the whole tower. And the result of that is a much more consistent and hectic and pressured ending to the scenario, and you'll see what I'm talking when we get there. As for setup for standalone, I'm not following it, I never do. I'm going to be using the high recognition stuff, not the low recognition stuff. We'll be playing on easy standard as always. I've already set the cards or the back of that, but let's go ahead and quickly turn this tablet into a squid like you would over the course of the normal campaign. And as for weaknesses, at this point in the campaign, you would have been given one weakness from the campaign. In the videos I've already uploaded, I've given a pretty scathing review of that set of weaknesses though, so I'll just be taking a second random basic weakness. We have self-centered and through the gates on Harvey, basically nothing. And then over here on Luke, we have overzealous making its triumphant return and stubborn detective, which is basically about what you would expect out of two cards, just not split how you would normally see them coming. And I'm playing Luke and Harvey as the two strongest flex characters in the game. First, going into my Scenario 5 decks for this campaign, we'll go to Parallel Skids because he's easy to figure out how much experience we got. He has 49, 1 banked, so 50. Being Scenario 5 within the thick of it, and Karen's Opal, he's up 13 experience from where he should be. So we have 37 experience on these characters, is where you would be in an actual campaign. And coming to Luke's deck, he is 47 out of 37, he's 10 over, but he has Arcane Research and Down the Rabbit Hole. On Upgrade 5, that's going to be an additional 20 experience, and he will lose some of it, 2 on Twyla, 1 on True Magic, 1 on Charisma. So it's an additional 16 experience, but being only 10 over, this is actually 4 under. And if you've seen my Edge of the Earth playthrough, you know what this deck is. If you haven't, draw your cards, get True Magic, draw your spells, use True Magic forever, twice a turn, with Twyla, Captain Price. It's really disgustingly powerful. As you can see, this version of the deck has max Shrivelings, but it doesn't have max Clue Finding. That's going to be perfectly fine. Then coming over to Harvey, we have what I would say is a fairly standard broke-ass Harvey deck that just doesn't follow the rules. Again, just a little bit under the experience we could have used according to what happened in the real campaign. We have Fingerprint Kit with Emergency Cash combo. We have Occult Lexicon to call ourselves a Flex Fighter. We have Farsight because it lets you play Blood Rites as fast actions. We have a Bulletproof Vest and Mr. Rook's Never Die to Our Weakness, Milan, because why would you ever not run Milan? Empirical Hypothesis, because on Harvey this really does say draw a card every turn. It's just a backup way of ensuring that you're using your ability. Segment of Onyx to Down our deck on future cycles. In addition, it's also just broken. Vault of Knowledge is our signature. Then we have a bunch of fast events, Bring the Minute Will, Crack the Case, Cryptic Writings, Deep Knowledge. Deep Knowledge isn't fast, but Practice Makes Perfect and Shortcut are, and Deep Knowledge draws 4 cards on Harvey. And then we have our Practice Makes Perfect setup, of course. This is just a really basic, streamlined Harvey deck where you draw your whole deck, play all your assets, and then you have a very tight pile of cards that take into your second cycle that do a lot of work very instantly. Your weakness never does too much, you're vomiting stuff out of your hand, you're not using too much hand size stuff. The real cards you're holding aren't going to be ones for Farsight value. You're going to hold cards just to turn Farsight on, but the cards you're holding will just be economy cards you didn't really need, your second Mr. Rook, stuff like that. So with all of that said, with the introductions out of the way, let's get into the scenario. What are we seeing on Harvey's opening hand? Do you hold deep knowledge on Harvey? Like, there's an argument to like just mulligan the perception and keep the hand, right? There's no way I hold second deep knowledge. But I will hold the rest of that because I don't want to mess up this practice makes perfect by drawing a deduction. Seems like a really solid opening hand. Over here on Luke, I should probably turn off hand hiding. And now that I've done that, I can see that I've drawn overzealous opening hand. True Magic, I'm happy to see. These are not upgraded yet, so I won't be keeping them. And I won't be keeping Holy Rosary either, even though I do really want the Holy Rosary because I don't have the economy to play this and True Magic. If I did, I would be completely bankrupt. I couldn't afford to play Mr. Rooks and actually do my job. Or try to Catherine Prices, for instance. All told, a bit of a rough opening hand. We're actually going to be using this deep knowledge on Harvey over here on Luke to try to sort him out, which is part of why Harvey's so high up. We have starting location Odin Chapel. You're able to resign here. We don't want to do that. We're playtesting the whole scenario. You can investigate, reveal locations if you were there. We have a 5 doom agenda that you're supposed to get to the chapel or the cathedral before it goes off. If you don't, you get punished pretty hard. We have a 4 clue threshold to be spent across the courtyard at the Cathedral of Yharnam. So, first things first, I'm going to give Luke 3 cards. That doesn't fix it. That doesn't fix it. Doesn't fix it. Take the Harvey draw. Doesn't actually work during other people's turns, unfortunately. That's fine. Second action, I play Milan for most of my money, and then I... Oh man, I can't investigate this turn if I play Milan. I think I can live with not investigating this turn. I'm just gonna walk to the right. 2 Shroud, 2 Clues. As additional cost to exit this location, you must either spend an additional action or discard a card with a foot icon. Burn the Midnight Oil. Are you in my hand? Anyway, that's it for over here. We still have a turn on Luke, unfortunately. Luke has forgotten to bring the cards he should be using. I'm going to play a True Magic. I'm going to investigate as if it were Clairvoyance against that location. Let's get this done correctly. All right, so like I was saying, we're investigating against this location, and we're using it as Clairvoyance. We're up 2, 6, 4 to 2, or up 4, 6 to 2. We'll take both of those clues. And I think we just need money, and we're overdrawn anyway, so we just gain 2 resources of the Cryptic Writings, and that brings us to upkeep. Hawkeye, a little bit late. I think I would have had to have been at the location, right? From your location, as if you were there. Does this resolution of as if mean that the enemies would engage you and then hit you? I think it does. I think it does. I believe as if is worded in a way where it's unambiguously going to do everything it could ever conceivably do, which means this doesn't actually avoid enemies, but it does trigger Hawkeye. I'll be playing it like that. If I'm wrong, please correct me about my poor understanding of what as if means. Let's see what our encounter cards are. Hopefully we won't get an enemy just yet. That's real bad. Well, it's fine because Luke doesn't actually have to care, which is funny. We're gonna be ditching that guy. Dreadful Effigy's a bit of a problem. We don't have the money for that. That's okay. I walked to the Cathedral of Yharnam. This is just Ancient Evils now. We can live with that. And it's gonna cost us 2 actions, so I have no foot icons in hand. Last action, I investigate. I play Practice Makes Perfect. We're looking at 3 Shroud. I'm up a lot. So all I'm looking for is deduction, but if I have to take something else, I can live with it. Sorry, Mr. Rook. Would have been nice to get you. Oh well. Deduction, perception, at 1,000,000. Cool. I use my ability. I draw 2. Through the gates, what's going away? Deductions are out of the game. Well, don't say we're going easy on the scenario then. Did I actually discard my Practice Perfect? Yeah, I got another one though. Little bit of a rough start for Harvey, huh? At least he got 3 clues. Like, that's something. And he made him money with Milan. Now, over here on Luke, we have no choice. We are getting in the gate box. This place sucks. We have the clues to progress. So I'm going to spend an action to move here and progress the act. That way we aren't on this location. You'll notice the first treachery here during every Mythos phase gains Surge for both of us. So we're going to progress the act by spending 4 clues. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Then we progress the act. All of these locations will go away, which means attachments like this clown, he should have been standing down here, Luke gate box away from him, are gone. Bring it booted into the Grand Cathedral of Yharnam, which has a lot of text on it, but we don't really need to do any of it. And then we place out these 4 locations. We add the Act 2 additions. I don't believe we shuffle the discard pile in. We lose all of our clues. We advance past Agenda 1A, but we keep the Doom. And we shuffle out the Welcome to Yharnam set. All it did was Ancient Evils and leave. Very happy about that. And while I was doing all this, it occurred to me, I forgot to do hunters. We were playing this like a real scenario, so I'll have 2 random hunters in it. And they can just go in the deck now, I guess, since they were supposed to be here at the beginning. Now, having moved to this new act, our objective is to get to the top, which will spawn this lady, and then when we kill her, we'll advance the act. To do that, however, you have to clear all the locations of clues. And I did initially read this and comment on it, but when you flip Steps of Penance over, you immediately see after you enter Steps of Penance, take a damage, move to a connecting location. And my mind's like, oh, okay, cool. And having accepted this knowledge, it then blanked the knowledge that I could not move. This is only useful for going back down or for people who are coming up really late for some reason. It's not like a standard thing you get to do. Anyway, Luke has an action left. It's probably just move and investigate. I wouldn't know what the Shroud of that is. I'm only investigating it. I am investigating at 6, honestly. I would walk to the next location on Luke. I'm up 3, I find out. I investigate on Luke with my last action as Clairvoyance. I believe that's a pass with no penalty. I believe Squid is a -3. And I'm in a cathedral location, so no additional effect, but the insight does come out of the bag. And Luke will pick up 2 more clues. That's it for us. Upkeep phase. I can easily discard Research Librarian since I already have the only book in the deck. Not really the prettiest draws on either of these characters. 3 of 10 Doom, Living Failures on Harvey. Haven't really drawn Occult Lexicon on account of having literally drawn nothing, because I've given Luke 4 of my draws, and the draws I got discarded my hand. Oh, it's been rough. Anyway, Luke has more head now, thanks game. Really helping me out with that whole 4-head Mystic thing, aren't you? Haven't drawn a Shriveling, can't help with Living Failures yet. God, it's such a shitty play, but it's where we're at. I'm going to move, play Rosary, and engage these guys. And then in the enemy phase, after they try to attack, I'm going to just Gatebox out. Or before they try to attack, but after they've moved. Because it's the only way we have of dealing with these guys right now. Harvey's going to walk up. He's going to use Practice Makes Perfect, and it can't go worse than last time. Against 3 Shroud, so we're up a lot. Search the top 9. We sadly didn't hit our perception or anything but this analysis, but analysis I guess we'll have to do. Up 4. For fuck's sake. I draw a card so I can use my ability this turn. Jesus Christ, Harvey, get it together. Enemy phase, they move, they try to attack. I use the trigger to use Gatebox and get into my happy place, leaving these guys behind. Then upkeep phase. Oh, these decks both have Mr. Rook. Whenever I'm playtesting a single scenario in standalones, I just ignore keywords like this. Not keywords. I ignore asterisks between players. The point of an asterisk is to prevent you from having 2 copies in play at once, and for flavor reasons. There's no balance concern with both players having this. No one's breaking the game with a Leo on both their players. If they were, they'd be breaking the game just less so with a Leo on one of their players. To just ignore the fact that both these decks have Mr. Rook, it's fine, it's fine. Top of the round, 4 of 10 Doom. It's actually 4 of 12 Doom because it's a plus player's Doom threshold. And while I'm here, I'm going to comment on things like this as I go through. I'm not really sure why this is plus player's Doom. Because I think the idea is it gives full groups more time to get rid of the kin traits because they'll be pulling more encounter cards. But my experience has been that you draw the entire encounter deck in 2-player anyway, and then you get rid of all the encounter cards. And in 3 and 4-player, you don't get rid of them early. There's no reason to get rid of them early. So it's the same number of actions no matter how big your party is, and therefore this shouldn't be player scaling unless I'm missing something. Anyway, I have a sudden concern that Milan may in fact be an alien. And I also have a concern that this alien may in fact be an alien. Actually, it cannot spawn here. So it just fizzles and dies. Nice. Good job, Gatebox. Very balanced ability. I've also perfectly drawn cryptic writings outside of all the draws during my turns. I'm going to play Occult Lexicon. And as my second action, I'm going to play the Blood Right it gives me. I'm going to shuffle it into my deck and draw a 2. I'm going to use Harvey's ability to draw a 3rd one. This will go off immediately, giving me 3 resources. I would like to get Milan money this turn, so I'm just going to investigate up 3. That's barely a pass, but it is a pass, thanks for having base 5. Thanks, Milan. And then over here in Luke, we're going to get hit for 1. It's not a big deal. I'm going to play Mr. Rook for 3. I'm going to tap Mr. Rook and use his ability to search my top 9. We're going to hit Shriveling, right? Thank God. So we didn't hit Shriveling. Oh, wait, you also hit a weakness. I'm completely okay with being in my angry place right now. That's not a problem at all. I'm now going to take 2 horror at the end of the round, but I also have a shriveling that does its job, or rather a true magic that does its job. I think I just gain a resource to play Twyla next turn, and that's it. I get booted out, I take 2 horror. Speaking of, I should have had 2 horror already, and over here I would have been running in the thick of it as a 1-1 split. I think I would do 1-1. I don't know if 6-7 or 7-6 is better. I think 6-7 is better. Anyways, that's it for us. I get booted out at the end of the investigation phase. These guys hunt. Neither of us can really soak it well, but Mr. Rook is in play, so he gets this. Also, he's the one fighting it, so it makes sense. And the upkeep phase, we're gonna have to discard on Luke. It's gonna be Research Librarian. And then over here on Harvey, shortcut's fine. 5 of 12 Doom, evil cards. Lesser Amygdala. This investigation is gonna suck a little bit now. And Savor the Starlight. I've also become concerned that this Mr. Rook is an alien. Something to note about this card is it doesn't actually do anything other than give you an alien card. Because you'll notice I don't test with Mr. Rook or Milan. That just doesn't happen. So it might need to specify an action trigger. Because as it stands now, I guess it would have fizzled both times with that specification, right? But without that specification, the last line, you get -1 to all tests on that asset, also does nothing pretty much every time. Anyways, for the love of God, don't beef it, Luke. You're at 5, 6, 7, 8 to 2. Don't auto-fail me. Thank you. I mean, he'll be back, but problem solved. I'm gonna play the Hawkeye folding camera over Twyla, because I'm greedy for head boost. That's so stupid. I'm playing Twyla. I'm playing Twyla. What has gotten into me? Why would I ever think this was right? I had to do a little bit of juggling to get this set up how I wanted it to. So I played Twyla. I have 1 action left. Seems like an easy deep knowledge onto our friend. And Harvey's gonna use his ability and get 4 cards. Great, perfect, right on time. We can easily soak that. How much damage is this? 3, 6, 9. It's 4 every 3, so I take 3 damage. That's fine, he's fine, don't worry about it. Get it out. Then over here on Harvey, we do have to get slapped once. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Can't find Mr. Rook for the life of me. I'm gonna play Empirical Hypothesis as my first action. God, not finding Mr. Rook in the top 15 and then getting thrice damned for 3 is a little bit spooky. Didn't draw a Bulletproof Vest either, because this guy will slap me. I just need to not auto-fail this Investigate, right? Like, it's not hard. It's not a problem. I'm still completely safe. -3, that's fine. I get the clue. I get a money from Milan. We didn't actually play a Hawkeye. I thought we did, but that's fine. We can go to the next location now. That's the big deal. I'm going to shortcut into the next location because I just need to get cards on my hand. 3 Shroud, 2 Clues. We get +1 to all evade tests. Enemies lose alert, gain retaliate. I'm going to spend some resources and vomit out these segments of Onyx just to avoid overdrawing, and we've currently done that. We don't need to do anything else. Oh, I was at a location where I could have played Crack the Case. I played Crack the Case. I just realized I did that. We have a resource over here for Hawkeye. That's all the money he'll need. So I give the other 2 to myself. I got -3. This only starts at the start of the round, so it doesn't even matter what I would declare. I'm never going to declare this ever again. It's always succeed by 3 or more. Oh, Pendant of the Queen should have been set aside. For some reason, it wasn't in my bonded cards. There should be another card in my hand. Oh, well, speak of the devil. I'm going to play this just, I guess, to get it out of the way. We may as well. And I'm going to, that should have cost me a resource. And I'm just going to play Cryptic Writings to get 3 resources. I could investigate up 3, but I'd rather investigate next turn when I see what my draws give me, so let's continue on. Burning the Midnight Oil is nice. Deep Knowledge is nice. 6 of 12 Doom. Evil cards. Eldritch Spectator. He is back. Actually, the new one is showing up, not him. Kind of can't investigate it this time, but I think Luke can take a slap pretty easily, so I guess he'll be doing it instead. Anyway, over here for Luke, we get Apocryphal Understanding. There is an inside out of the bag. We put it back in. That is an easy choice. I don't like taking 2 horror, so let's steal Emissary. It's currently just got the 2 health, 1 from it, 1 from me. Oh, the 3 health, 1 from this. That's still perfectly fine. I'm going to shrivel this guy using Twyla instead of the charge. He's dead. I'm going to walk to the next location. I don't really need Mr. Rook anymore. He's just expendable soak. And it's better for Harvey if I get rid of this clue, so I'm going to investigate with Clairvoyance. 4, 5, 6, 8 to 3, up 5. I get hit for 1/1. Rook dies. That's his job, though. This alien is no longer here. And I get both clues. Sad to say I'm not getting Hawkeye value, but it's still fine. All right, now coming over to the turn on Harvey, we're shortcutting straight into the next location because now we can. We just want to bomb it out cards. We don't want to hold these. 2 Shroud, 4 Clues. Doesn't seem like it wants to have them. I'll just take Luke's stack, I guess. Enemies get the swarming trait here, so I don't want to stay here for long if I can avoid it. Hopefully we succeed pretty substantially on one of these checks. I think I'm blood writing for cards again. I blood write for 2, and I shuffle it in, and I use my ability. I'm self-centered now. I'm going to play the Mr. Rook. Do I tap the Mr. Rook? Yes. I have a 9 out of 11 chance of hitting my fingerprint kit, and even if I don't, I'll still hit. I did hit my fingerprint kit. It is here. Is there anything better? Vault of Knowledge is very good. It's probably just fingerprint kit, I'm going to be honest. And I can pick another card at the start of next turn. We just have to deal with some swarming enemies potentially. That's fine. Upkeep phase. Perception's nice. There's no card that Luke needs anymore. He's at 7 of 12, or Doom is at 7 of 12. Eldritch Spectator, he comes up. It's the furthest one in play, so this one comes up. I would really appreciate you guys not just walking in lockstep with us up this tower. X is the total amount of Doom, which is 1 million, but there's no insights out of the bag, so this is just roll for penalty token. I'm in the Cathedral location, nothing happens. Anything that has a kin trait cannot use its abilities. So I can't get Milan money this turn. That's the only effect that has. Just gonna tap Milan now to remind myself. I think this is a situation where everyone's used a lot of expendable soak already. I guess I have 2 Mr. Rooks left before the deck cycle, right? I can afford to do this. I just really don't want to. I'm gonna play the second fingerprint kit. Or the first fingerprint kit, rather. I'm going to investigate with it. I'm gonna get slapped for 1/1, by which I mean my good buddy Mr. Rook is gonna get slapped for 1/1. I may as well put it both on Mr. Rook in case it's more efficient to kill him, because I don't want to kill the 1 Milan I have. And we're investigating at 5, 6, 7, 8 to 2 for 3 clues. -1, 2, 3. Easy pass. Take 3 clues. 8 to 2, 5 to 2. We over-succeed. We get this. We're going to spend that immediately to draw a card and use Harvey's ability to draw another card. I'm going to burn the Midnight Oil. Oh, right, I'll get slapped again. This is what Mr. Rook is for. I'm going to burn the Midnight Oil. Rook is going to die. And I'm going to commit Perception to this test. Cool. This only gets 1 evidence per turn, unfortunately. Wish it got more. But I will get the last clue, and I will draw 2 cards. Hey, Farsight. Hey, Vault of Knowledge. You guys will be helpful later. Over here on Luke's turn, I can walk straight into the boss room if I wanted to. It's a little bit slow. By a little bit slow, I mean I won't be able to kill the boss this round no matter what, and they will hit me for a lot of horror, which I'm kind of afraid of at the minute. So I've been going back and forth about like playing Hawkeye and moving once and wasting an action, or like double walking and getting the boss and being scared. I have Deny 5. I just forgot that's in the deck. His deck is so cheap that at like 40 experience he's already running Deny 5. Yeah, okay, sure, why not? I move into the next location, and the next location, because there are a lot of clues. We reveal this 2 and 4. Do I still have this? Yes, I do. And then on this location, after you reveal it, go to the interlude, and the interlude says we get Dr. Hamatani to spawn here, and we test foot, what is it again? Foot 3, if I fail, she attacks me. I'd rather you didn't, promise of power. Up 4. That'll be a pass. That's been 2 actions. I'm going to shrivel her. It doesn't matter how I use it because it's my last action no matter what. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's happening. We have a net of -3. I'm at 4, 5, 6, 9, -3, 6 to 3. That's an easy pass. Insides out. Curse removed. 3 of 6 damage. Don't. That's it for us. Enemy phase. She's going to attack. Deny existence. Heal for 2. Take 1. Upkeep. Denies back. I'm unkillable, baby. 8 of 12 Doom and evil cards. Second Childhood is in play again. Yeah, it's fine. I'll just remember it. Milan's not usable. Wait. Is there like an alien under something somewhere? This should be under Milan. I don't know how I got confused and attached it to something else. This is Milan's card. So I'm going to tap Milan now. And does this have to be our location or a location? Just a location. I'm going to attach it to the top location because we're not coming back up here after this point. And our location and all locations in this row are now considered kin. We can live with that. That's fine. All right, so first things first, I keep on blasting. She's dead. 6 damage. Luke is just such a fucking strong character. This true magic shit is not okay. It's so strong, man. I can't believe I didn't put him in S tier when I was doing the video. Like, he's growing on me. I've moved him into my S tier since. But I was like, is it really that good? And it's like, yes. Attacking with lightning gun or investigating with Rite of Seeking 5 twice every turn forever and teleporting around the map is really good. Anyway, we advance the act. And now we're going to put into play the portraits. We're going to put into play the lift. The lift is going to get the blue key. And as a reminder, this is rigged. I've already planned out the specific order they're in. The only part that really matters is having this portrait of the headmaster right at the bottom, which, by the way, is the one that we need. Anyway, all locations in the same floor are now connected, and as additional cost to reveal the portrait of the headmaster, you must possess the red key. If an orphanage is revealed, advance. Another thing I mysteriously messed up in my video is, like, I just forgot that you needed to spend 2 clues as one person. Like, I talk about it, and I mention it, and then I do it as a group anyway. And then I forget to spend the clues, and I do it a second time with the same clues. It's just a mess. The play was so bad in that scenario for no reason. I don't know if I was like really taken aback and out of it because of setup troubles or what. But now that I'm here, now that I've like had time to play the scenario twice, I can confidently say something. This lift is useless, man. For it to be action efficient, you have to get in the lift, teleport at least 3 locations, and get out of the lift. Because if you get in and get out, you could have just walked down twice, right? Theoretically, if everyone got in the lift at the same time, it wouldn't be a big deal, but you need to go to all the portraits to look for the keys. So since the efficient route is like go down, go in, go out, go down, go in, it's just not efficient to use the lift at all, and I'm not really sure what it's for. Anyways, that's it for the update. Now we need to continue playing the game. Do we have 6 clues on both characters? No, but we do have 6 clues on Harvey. It's just gonna be move camera, there's nothing else to it, so move and camera. And I'll sit down next to Harvey. Actually, since I need 2 more clues, and there are clues here, and that location sucks, rather than moving, I'm going to go ahead and investigate with this clairvoyance. I'm up a lot. I'll do math if I have to. -3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, -3, pass by 3. Not even close to a problem. I'll take 2 of these clues. And now Luke can open doors. Oh, I only need 4. I was doing 6 players. I just realized I didn't need those clues. I only need 4. I was doing 3 players, because that's what we just played when we needed 6, but I do not need 6. This is not 3 players. Anyway, over here, I spend all but 2 of my clues on Harvey, and I unlock the portrait of the first picker. We're gonna get a random key, and the keys are randomized. I haven't done anything to rig this. It's got 4 clues. Put contact chamber into play to the right location and place 1 random set aside key on it face down. Triple action. If there are no clues here, remove a dangerous token from the bag for the rest of the campaign, and victory 1. Anyway, second action, we walk in. Now, a thing I do want to say about these guys that I don't know if I actually said in the video or not, spend 2-player clues should definitely be as a group, or investigators at this location spend 2-player clues. And for player scaling reasons, it might be better to have this be a lightning bolt and just tone the doom clock around that. Because with lower player counts, this is a 4-action tax that is a huge problem for a 1 or 2-player group. And for a 4-player group, it barely even matters that you spend actions on this. So generally, when anything is a scenario mandatory action, I prefer to see it be a lightning bolt. Minor thing here, because it's not that much of an action tax. The bigger thing is this should not be individual spend 2 clues, it needs to be as a group. Anyway, coming back to this location, we have actions left. Well, that's pretty easy when I'm going to use the fingerprint kit. Is there any way for me to investigate as an action? Is there any way at all for me to play a card and get value? Because right now, yeah, unfortunately, there's just no way for me to use my ability as Harvey. It's just fingerprint kit. But fingerprint kit is still 2, 3, 8 to 4. I'll just take all the clues, thanks. This is not a cathedral location, so it rips me out, but I do get 3 of 4 clues. Now, in light of that, do I want Luke to pop into his gate box so that he can teleport in? Yeah, Luke's just gonna get in his gate box. Investigation phase ends and it spits him out in this room. Just save 2 actions on Harvey. He is closer to being the main clover. Luke is closer to being the main fighter. 9 to 12 doom, evil cards. There is 1 insight out. We aren't passing this test, and I'll take 1 damage or 1 horror if I fail. That'll be 1 damage, please. Or sorry, 1 horror on Milan, and then we go to the next one. I'm an Alamal too, which means I'm 1 point of health from dying. Gonna have to fix that. Anyway, over here, canonization. Pretty spooky. I think I promise of power or ward that. I think that's probably the best use for promise of power in the scenario. That seems reasonable to me. I'm gonna promise of power that. We are at 1, 2, 3, 4 locations away. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's a -6. I suspect I still failed. I did. Well, sometimes the promise of power is a lie and you draw the curse immediately. So, I choose an ally and play under your control and discard it, or a non-weakness ally asset in your investigator's deck and remove all copies of it from the game. This would be less terrifying if I'd remembered to put ally assets like the guy in the picture from the campaign into my decks. I'm just gonna be replaying this Twyla, I guess. That's fine. And that brings us to our turn, so I'm going to replay that Twyla. I'm going to investigate using that Twyla and Clairvoyance. I'm going to investigate with True Magic. Thank you. And I will take this game. Every single time I've done this scenario, I've got first key, red key, even though I've been shuffling the bag. I don't even understand how that's possible. Anyway, good RNG aside, we're going to continue on with Harvey. We're going to move down. What do I need to do on Harvey? I don't actually need to be like blitzing into the next location. That's not true. I need to be setting up. I need to play a new Mr. Rook to make myself safe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, there's just like a lot of cards that I need to play right now. I have a bit of setup left before I cycle into my next deck. And looking at hand size, were we okay? We were 1 over hand size and upkeep, and I just didn't notice. It's an easy analysis discard. I'm going to play Farsight first card. I'm going to use Bloodright and shuffle it in. I draw 2. Shuffle it in. What's the ordering? You perform the whole effect of this card, and then after an investigator. So I would think this shuffles in and it doesn't fizzle. That might be willful thinking on my part, but it seems like that would be correct, right? Anyway, the important part of that Bloodright is that now not only have I used my ability, Farsight is active. I can play an event as though it were fast. I'm going to play this Emergency Cache 3 as though it were fast and put 4 more uses on my fingerprint kit. Oh, you know what I really should have done? I should have used Pendant and the Queen to get that. I forgot it was in play. That's very funny. I'm going to play Vault of Knowledge for my last 3 resources. And that'll be it for us, so straight into upkeep. Burning the Midnight Oil is great to see considering I'm bankrupt. Ward of Protection's also great to see considering the relative danger that we are in. Celestial Emissary is fucked. He doesn't stand a chance. You guys aren't Ken, are you? No. Yeah, he's just dead to 1 Bloodright, not even a problem. Themerian Doctor, dead to 1 Shriveling, not even a problem. Over here on Harvey, I'm going to draw 2 with this Bloodright, taking a Horror, shuffle it back in, use Harvey's ability and draw another. I guess I should have resolved the full effect first, so I can't discard this card. I need to discard 2 cards. I'm going to choose Analysis, Deep Knowledge, and this guy's dead. Oh no, I don't actually have enough resources to kill him. The least backwards thing I can do then is to not use any resources and just evade him automatically with Pendant and the Queen. He doesn't have Hunter, so he'll be fine up here. Having already resolved that Bloodright, I don't want to like unresolve that Bloodright. If I have 3 cards here, this would be 1 card, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. That should have been a Farsight action as well. Pendant of the Queen's a really gross card, by the way. I mean, I just have to move and open the next location. That's not true. But like all of my money requires me to be at a location, so I do that. I move and I open the next location, which is all of my clues, I think. Nope, I have a 1 extra. Anyway, we open this location, 3 Shroud, 2 clues, put it into play, remove 1 token from the Chaos Bag. I don't care about that. But I will walk in and investigate with Burning the Midnight Oil, I think. Because I just need to get these out of my hand and gain resources to do my job. I can get these a little bit slower. There's not enough clues in this map to really use Fingerprint Kit to its fullest. Yeah, just Burning the Midnight Oil. Basic 6 to 3. I don't have anything to commit. That's fine. That'll still draw a card, or sorry, not draw a card, but nope, he's exhausted from this being here. That's not true. I drew a different enemy and forgot to discard this. So I gain a resource off Milan. What's the next thing? Let's get a clue. That's like the main thing this does. And unfortunately, it doesn't do anything else because I only get 1 clue. Over here for Luke, I'm able to open a new box. I'm going to shrivel this guy first. Someday I've got to get a penalty token, but it's not today. I'm going to move twice just to get past that guy. And I'm out of gate box, so I can't be super efficient. So I had to use gate box to dodge enemies early on because we're playing 2 sort of janky flex characters. Hey, Stubborn Detective, you made a mistake. You shouldn't have come here. I should be fine on hand size, 5 and 5. I'm up to 10 hand size, so we're good. 11 of 12 Doom, almost time to go. Pale Blood Sky, test 3 had if you fail, you missed either. I don't want to drop clues on my location. There should be a face down key on my location, by the way. I just forgot to do that. We can't move in locations with clues on them. Well, so joke's on you. I don't want to in the first place. Wait, I have 4 head and 5 because of this, and this is a 3 test. I pass. Okay, neat. We finally got a Hunter. He only has 3 health. That's not gonna go well for him. I'm going to attack the hunter first because he's just more important than the other guy. It is 4, 5, 6. Luke cleared a room a second ago. Was this in play when he did? I have to imagine it was. So this should be another point of head. 4, 5, 6, 7 to 4 base, 10 to 4 with shriveling. I suspect he's dead. Oh no. Okay, we're fine. Whenever an insight comes out of the bag, I'm just expecting the autofill to be glued to it. This guy's dead. Don't really care about spoils. This is a standalone. Next, we're going to shrivel the other guy. That's not correct. Our own weakness. It just can't be autofill. This guy's only got 3. I don't know why I pulled another one. I'm going to keep on walking down because Harvey seems to have that room handled. Over here on Harvey, we're going to burn the midnight oil again. Are we going to commit perception? We may as well. We got a skull 1, 2, 3 locations away. We are at 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Let's give you a book as well. No. So we're at 9, up 6. Still up 3. We get a clue here. So we draw 2 here. I'm going to put an evidence here to make it a reliable use later. I don't need a reliable use later. I can use this every turn with no issue. I'm going to trigger it immediately. And we get the last clue. And we crack the case twice. And gain 6 resources. And also that burning the midnight oil was fast because I have Farsight. And I get the key. And I play shortcut and move over here. Actually. I use Pendant of the Queen. This guy should have readied a while ago. And I teleport to the next location. I just realized that I only have 3 clues, so I won't be teleporting. Because I can't open any of these doors because none of them say as a group. So I don't have anything to do with my action anyway. In which case, I'll play safe and stop being an insane person. I spend 2 actions and 5 resources to be unkillable. Mr. Rook and Bulletproof Vest. It's very funny that I put the Bulletproof Vest in the Mr. Rook slot. It shows you a lot about how I think of that character. Right now, I only get hit for 2 by my weakness anyway, so I'm going to use my last action to Mr. Rook and try to peel it out of my deck. Pick up a Practice Makes Perfect along the way. Oh, you're back. Nice. Oh yeah, my Practice Makes Perfect suck. Wait, I've already gotten rid of Deduction. I don't care about Practice Makes Perfect anymore. I'm going to take this for money. Through the gates. Does this really not remove from your deck? Yeah, no, it's going off again. Okay. What do I lose this time? Well, this one still went off first, even if you removed them from the game. Can't take that from me. Just like remove the entire reason to play Harvey from my deck? Yeah, sure, average weakness. This is why I hate Through the Gates, by the way. It's not that Through the Gates is a particularly brutal card on most characters, but the characters I like to play, it just shits all over them. What card could it really have removed? Like Analysis, Shortcut. Most of the cards in the deck are cards that I really don't want to have removed from my deck. Anyway, that's it for us. Nothing else happens. Upkeep phase. Perception's nice to see. Guts is great. 12 Doom, it progresses. The last thing I cheated on very heavily is I just never read the final agenda, which is really weird. I was like, oh yeah, it takes 8 Doom, and that's all, right? We're all testing 4 ahead, and we're putting sidereal fluxes on the closest locations if we fail. Don't care about this test. I'm 1, 2, 3 away. I believe that's an exact fail then. I am at 4, 5 head. That is an exact fail. That's fine, though. Sidereal flux isn't doing too much. So this one will attach to this location, but it's not our objective, so it doesn't matter. Over here on Luke, we're probably passing. That was not the right thing, but sure, you can keep it, whatever. That's an insight, that's a 0. Luke passes, insights go back in the bag. I guess this is your encounter card. And over here for Harvey, Moon-Scented Hunter. Yeah, Harvey can just deal with that, it's not really a problem. So the thing that I didn't do, I just never read the bottom text here, which is kind of a big problem, and it's also disproportionately worse on lower player count teams. At the end of the Mythos phase, if no enemies were drawn from the encounter deck, discard cards until an enemy with a kin trait is revealed, then draw that card. Like, there's a lot of enemies in the deck, you're probably going to be triggering this every turn, especially in a 3 or 4 player group. Or sorry, of not triggering this, you're going to be drawing the enemy. But in like 1 or 2 players, this is very likely giving you an extra enemy turn that is disproportionately harder for you to deal with. Don't get me wrong, I love this effect. And in the way that I've rigged this deck, this effect gets a lot cooler. But it does seem to me that the player scaling is all backwards, that this scenario is universally harder at lower player counts, and there's no reason for this agenda to give you more doom with higher player counts. Anyways, we need to kill some folks. I'm gonna play Bloodright. Do I have 8 cards? You're damn right I do, with my Farsight. And I need to play it for the full 3 this time. I don't need to play it for the full 3, that's untrue. Thrice Damn Curiosity is unrelated to that decision. I realized like how Bloodright works. I shuffle it back in, I use Harvey's ability after, and I had to discard from the rest of this. This wasn't in my hand yet, so we were looking at 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2 damage. Just throw that on the bulletproof vest, that's fine. And we need to discard at least one card from this set, Analysis. Cool, take 1 damage, buddy. This comes in my hand on the Harvey ability. Next action, I shuffle a Bloodright in again and draw 2. And now for this discard, it's the other Analysis. It's going to be a Deep Knowledge. It's going to be 2 resources, and this guy is going to be dead. I'm just going to move twice. Like, I've got these shortcuts and this Pendant of the Queen, but they don't do anything if I can't open the doors. And I can't open the doors on Harvey because all the clues are on Luke. So over here on Luke, what are we going to do? We're going to kill this guy. We're going to shrivel. Eventually, I will draw a symbol. Hey, look at that. Bottom of my deck. Get out of here. I take a horror for attacking it, and I take 2 horror for the shriveling. And I'll take the horror, and I'll just deny the other horror to heal it back. Then I'll spend 4 of my 7 clues, and this turns into a new place. We've got the research hall, and it's connected to the blood healing laboratory. I actually did rig this one so that it connects as far away as possible for the sake of the map making sense. But I generally think that whatever connection this has is not actually that helpful unless it randomly spawns above that connection. Like if it were here and this was the room there and then it connected immediately right here or right here, you could go down the tower with the connection. But there's a straight 50% chance that it goes up the tower, which is basically useless as the scenario is currently designed. Anyway, that was my second action. We need 1 more clue to open for Voss. We were opening this to scan for victory, by the way. We don't need the Space Donkey. We know we don't need it. We do need 1 more, but I think Harvey is far better at getting 1 clue than Luke is. I don't want to move away from Harvey. So since I don't want to go in here because Harvey's better in there, and I don't want to leave Harvey, so I don't want to go down, I think I'm just testing Harvey's Lumenwood Covenant. There's not really anything else to do, so Guts, we're at 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 to 4. Should be easy. I'm already in a cathedral location, so we're fine there. Draw 2. Green Soapstone shouldn't be in my deck anymore, ignore that. And this is gone, giving Harvey a little bit more room to breathe with his remaining health. And that's it for us. No hunter enemies, so upkeep. We're good on hand size there. Of course we are, we're Harvey. Second shriveling doesn't really do much. 1 of 8 doom, and let's see if this ability goes off. It does not. We need a Celestial Emissary and a Celestial Foundling. Now, looking at this, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 aliens at our location. He currently has 5 health. But if Luke kills this guy and then walks away, he'll have 2 health and be easily blood-righted. Or I can just kill him at 3 health with Luke still here. But this guy has to go first, so that's what's happening immediately. I'm going to attack with Schwyla, with Shriveling at 1,000,000. Take 2 horror about it. But I get my card back and he dies. I also took a horror from engaging the attack just because that's what the guy does. At this point, do I want to stop risking Shriveling if I don't have to use Shriveling? It's an easy enough Bloodright. It's not really a problem. I'm going to go down to the next location expecting Harvey to catch up with me. And I don't need resources or anything, so I'm going to play this Shriveling because there's already 1 in my hand, allowing me to shrivel essentially an unlimited amount of time. I can like double investigate and shrivel now. And that'll be it for Luke. Over here on Harvey, we do have to Bloodright this guy. There's no Sidereal Flux here, it's just a Milan, and this guy, it's only 2 health. That's a Bloodright with Farsight. Draw 2, shuffle it back in, figure out the discards first. We don't need this emergency cache, we just like don't have time to use these fingerprint kits, unfortunately. And Mr. Rook's at full health, so him too. That's 2 resources, that's him dead. And we use Harvey's ability after the Bloodright to draw a card. I shortcut into the location with the key. We just need 1 clue on Harvey to progress. So we're going to be going for that. I mean, we may as well get 1,000,000 though. I get +2 for using that, which might have mattered. -4, that's definitely a pass. That gets the Milan money. And then I think I Pendant of the Queen Warp. I can save this to trip people. What am I doing with my actions? Move, shortcut. It's worth it to Pendant of the Queen Warp. I Pendant of the Queen Warp. I spend 4 of my 6 clues to flip this one. Does it say you must possess the red key or investigators? You must. Okay. I'm just going to start house ruling this to be the correct stuff. This should be the investigators must possess, and the investigators as a group at this location must spend. Because like at the point where we had to spend an action to hand over the key because the wrong guy has the clues and the wrong guy has the key, like it's just needlessly finicky. Just not gonna worry about it, man. And I'm gonna shortcut into the next location. This has the Orphanage. It's a 3 shroud, 4 clue location. It did actually spawn with half the clues it was supposed to. And you'll get a set aside face down key, only there are none left. What you can do normally, if you don't go to all the locations, is you can get a key guaranteed here, which is helpful for the next location, but because we've already went to the locations, we just have the 2 keys naturally. Anyway, every time we draw a kin enemy from now until the end of time, it spawns here, instead of wherever it would have spawned. Also, its shroud goes up by the number of kin enemies here. I'm going to investigate with a very sad practice makes perfect. There's 1 card in my deck. I'm not going to use practice makes perfect because I know it's not perception. I used perception already. I mean, I can't cycle my perception then. Oh, this is so sad. I investigate with the saddest perception of all time. It's not even helpful. I just investigate 6 and 3 and I cry about it. And then it fucking pulls me back. Thanks. What a sad turn for Harvey. All these broken cards and you're just getting clues that don't matter. 2 of 8 Doom. Let's see if we're getting a kin this turn. We are not getting a kin this turn. Amygdalin Measure is a bit of a nightmare card. It's an extra action to fight. It's going to discard a card at random. I may as well just ward it now. Ward does deal me a horror. I've got horror to spare. That's fine. I ward this one. Now over here on Luke, I'm going to... I can't shrivel over Harvey. It's just too risky. I've got to engage and then shrivel. Horror is now spooking. Next time I take horror, I'm killing the rosary and replaying it, I think is where we're at. Not even. This time, I'm killing the rosary. Goodbye. I play the Holy Rosary now. Harvey's gonna walk into this location again. I'm saving my last charge for a trip on a threatening enemy that I otherwise couldn't handle. I'm gonna investigate with the fingerprint kit with perception. That's basically a million just on autofill. Yeah, I'll get all 3 clues. And I will draw 2 cards, taking a horror in the process and putting that on Mr. Rook. If this test is successful, skill timing windows, page 26, know it by heart. Determine success, apply skill test results. So I determine it's successful, draw 2 cards, then I get the clues, which means crack the case for 3. Also, Harvey's ability, I draw an additional card. Which is important because now I can play a far side card. Oh, and I should have advanced when I revealed the orphanage. Did this a little bit late. The surgery altar goes into play to the right of the orphanage. And my goal is to reveal the audience chamber, which happens when you do this second ability for clearing it of clues or attaching 2 keys. And also another note, I'm pretty sure that there's like no way it's ever easier to get 3 players clues at a 5-shot location than just to have 2 keys, because there's no way to get here without 2 keys, right? You get 1 for the room, this spawns another key. So, provided that you didn't just like go to all 3 rooms and then skip 2 of them before coming here, you're just gonna have 2 keys when you get here, so it's just way easier to attach 2 keys to this than it is to do anything else. Maybe you're supposed to spend the key, maybe that would make it harder. But it doesn't say that, it says you just need to have the key, so yeah. I'm just gonna slide everything over a little bit. I'm not sure what the fuck I'm doing on Harvey. Like, normally, you dig through your deck to make money instantly and get deductions to get clues quickly. But both of those things have been removed from my deck this game. Fuck through the gates, man. Like, what am I gonna do? Dig through my deck so I can get through the gates again and remove perception too? I'm just gonna walk to the next location. There's just not a point. Harvey's just a 6 stat stick with fingerprint kit, and that's like it. He can play Blood Rights for a while, not forever, but for a long time. There's no point in thinking anymore. Let's go. Upkeep phase. Hey, I forgot I had this. Polite exchange. We've killed both hunters. I house rule this to not deal 2 damage, because dealing 2 damage is ludicrously high for that card. We have an enemy. We have penitence. There's no way that there's not going to be 3 enemies in the deck, so I'm testing 4, 5, 6. I'm pretty sure this would be higher than this, but whatever. 7 to 3. That's just good enough. No guts. Take the test straight. I get date box. Hell yeah. Upkeep phase. Thrice damn curiosity. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2 damage. Bulletproof vest goes by. Shouldn't be cycling my deck again before this scenario ends, so we're just completely safe at this point. 3 of 6 doom, 8 doom. Let's see if we're getting an additional kin enemy. Amygdalin Measure, terrifying. Actually, word that, right? Do I care? Do I care? The horror on Luke is spooky. I shouldn't have drawn this first, because it's additional information that Luke doesn't need to ward what he's drawing. But like, losing investigate actions over here, like, what am I doing on Harvey if I'm not just investigating? Well, honestly, I'm just investigating the fingerprint kit once. That's most of my turn, right? Most of the cards in my hand suck anyway. Like, I know there's half of them that I don't want to discard, but, like, there's also half of them that do nothing. Yeah, I'm not going to word that. And then we get Penitence again. Discard some more cards. Oh, that was an enemy immediately. My bad. Anyway, once again, I'm just up a lot. Yeah. It's scary as hell to fail, but I can't word that because I'm so likely to pass. Anyway, we're going to discard cards until we get an enemy now, right? Specifically a Ken enemy. So this guy. And this is the specific reason that I want to rig the deck to make this result happen, because now the orphanage is right next to the finale. A, that's just appropriate. That's literally a picture of the window leading to Ebrietas. It should be where the finale is. And then, possibly more importantly, you get this thing happening where there's a huge pressure because all these enemies are spawning near you. The final act deck is going to give them Hunter. And then they're going to be running at breakneck pace through here. There's a hugely greater amount of pressure applied to your investigators in this version of the scenario. To the point where it's possible that, like, maybe Ebrietas needs to be reworked to be much weaker because your fighters will be busy standing in here stopping the stream of enemies because letting them hunt to you means they're hitting you. But also, none of the enemies in this scenario hit that hard in the first place, which makes it okay for them to hunt to you and hit you. Anyway, I just wanted to gush about like how great this specific setup is for this specific reason. We're gonna get into our turns. I double action fingerprint kit, thanks amygdalin measure. I may as well practice makes perfect. I think it guarantees a perception. Yeah. I don't care what the numbers are anymore. I'm just like looking for autofill. Cool. I draw 3 cards because I'm Harvey. And I take 3 clues, and I make a money because Seekers just aren't fair, man. That's what's happening. Seekers just aren't fair, man, is the real summary of this. I can't investigate again, amygdalin measure. I'm just going to Rook. And see what's getting removed from my deck. Oh, we already hit through the gates this cycle. Second shortcut's actually worthless to me. All of this is worthless to me. Burning the Midnight Oil is actually relatively useful. I take Burning the Midnight Oil. And that was my last action, unfortunately. Over here on Luke, we need to shrivel some guys. We need to not draw autofill tokens on them, or not autofill, simple tokens. We move in, we shrivel some guys. Don't you do it. Ah, shit. On Luke, we're getting to be in the struggle bus on horror, because we've drawn a lot of symbols on this fucking shriveling. We also take a horror for doing that, and then 2 more. But I mean, they're dead, so that's nice. Oh, we didn't draw through the gates. It was the thing under them. Okay, that explains it. Cool. Upkeep phase. Also, as a general thing, in the latter parts of this campaign, I noticed they were all tilted heavily towards horror damage. If you'll take a look at my characters, notice Luke has taken 1 damage, and most of the damage on Harvey is self-inflicted through thrice-damned curiosity. It's definitely, like, this scenario has almost no physical damage in it. It's kind of weird. I can't throw away Mr. Rook. How many cards do I actually have to throw away? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I need to throw away 2. One of these shortcuts is actually worthless. This practice makes perfect won't be useful for a while. Oh, I can't actually do it this way. What's this phrased as? Instead of drawing a card randomly, discard 1. So these should still be in my hand. I shouldn't have drawn a card because I want to get rid of amygdalin measure. So we just shuffle the hand. 1 on the right gets discarded. Bye, Bloodright. It's not like you're a core part of the deck or anything. Get out of here, kid. Just forgot that's instead of your upkeep phase. I think it was during, but it's instead of the draw. That's it for us. 4 of 8 Doom. I don't know, man. Just 2 players feels sketchy. Eldritch Spectator? Yeah, sure. Get down here, man. Come on, join the party. Welcome aboard. Living Failures? I forgot we hadn't dealt with them yet. Oh, Luke's just gonna die. Luke's just shriveled himself into the fucking ground over here. He's gotten that failure token 4 times. Only so much work Deny 5 can do. Anyway, we're gonna go first on Harvey. We investigate. We get slapped. It kills Mr. Rook. And this is a fingerprint kit, investigate, by the way. And unfortunately, this thing does exhaust every time I use it, so if this auto fails, everything gets really damn messy. No reason to use practice makes perfect or anything else. Like, I'm just a fingerprint kit stick, that's what I do. I play a new Mr. Rook for Soak. Why'd I need all these clues? Oh, I could have just attached keys to it. Luke's not here, he can't help. I'm just getting it in 2 actions, it's the same thing. Anyway, as a reaction to doing that, I flip it. We're now in the Cathedral Cistern. Revelation, put Audience Chamber into play to the right. Force, if a hunter enemy would enter the Cathedral Cistern during the enemy phase and there are no investigators at this location, resolve that enemy's hunter keyword a 2nd time. It's just very spooky, the exact play pattern you get with this. I'm going to shortcut into the last location. Now that I've revealed the Audience Chamber, we put Ebrietas and the Altar of Despair into this location. And in addition, we progressed the final acts. Test header, foot forward. If you fail, lose 2 actions or take 2 damage. I mean, I guess that's what Mr. Rook is for. I'm not happy about this, but I can't really avoid it in any way because I don't have actions to lose. If I hadn't played Mr. Rook, I could just lose the actions instead. That's so unfortunate, but I just remember what that flip does. It doesn't even cause a problem. Like, I can commit analysis, and shortcut, but it basically turns off my blood rights. And I think Luke has to come fight because, or Luke has to come get clues and do the test because he's done fighting. He might actually be dead right now. Like, he might actually be dead. I think I do triple commit this. I have 12 clues. If I take 2 damage, I'm afraid of dying. Right now, the scenario can be completed. I think I commit this. And we're trying to get out of here as fast as possible. If Luke gets a Shriveling fail on his first token, it means that we have to sack Luke. But we're currently able to win as long as I don't die on Harvey. This is unrelated to that, I think. I don't think I die on Harvey even if I do this. Ebrietis has 15 health. Theoretically, I could kill Savor the Starlight by throwing away Milan, and then Bloodright for 15 resources to kill her eventually. It would take, you know, like 2.5 turns, but it's doable. But we're not doing that. There's no chance in hell. What we're doing is the alternative objective, Altar of Despair, which is actually a lot better design than I thought it was the first time. The first time I mostly looked at 2 players plus 2 offerings and thought, holy shit, that's a lot. It's way easier to kill her. Which is kind of true for teams that are as good at fighting as my team was. But like, Parlay, test an ability of your choice 6, you get +1 to this test for each card with the kin trait at this location. So it's already only a 5 test because Ebrietis is here, right? And skills don't really work, but that's because skills aren't the way you do this. The actual choice is if you come here and everything you have is turned into aliens, you don't get rid of it all, you just do Altar of Despair instead. And if you have very few alien cards, then it pushes you towards killing Ebrietis, which is the situation I found myself in the previous playthrough. And as far as alternate win conditions go, this is just incredibly well designed. Anyway, I've been going in circles over here. I really don't know what's happening. I think Luke is getting sacked. I just have to take this straight. Good job, Harvey. I'm glad I was in decision paralysis for like 5 to 10 minutes about that one. There's like a lot of edited out footage where I kept considering committing these and dropping my clues and giving up on the victory. And like, am I even going for the victory? What's the state of things? We need to see what happens with Luke. Anyway, I'm an alien. They're an alien. It's a difficulty 4 test. I can test anything I want to. We have 6 in our book, so I'm up 2. Probably should have triggered this a lot of times, and I've just been forgetting about it, but whatever. There's a -3 and 2 squids in the bag. I commit Burning the Midnight Oil. I'm going to drip feed 1 clue into this, or 1... Wait, I haven't played Farsight? I play Farsight action, Bloodright, draw 2, shuffle the Bloodright in. I think I drew 2 just now with Harvey's ability when I got the star. Not certain, might be messing it up. Anyway, then I commit the Burning the Midnight Oil, testing up 3. Can't really do much better than that. I can beat the -4, but I want to save this for like drip feeding to beat -3 every time. So yeah, that's just a -2. And that was, I didn't clarify, but based on what I was saying about the test, you should be able to infer. I'm doing this. I'm going for 6 tokens on Altar of Despair. Now over here, Luke, I really need you to not pull a token on Shriveling. Please. Thank you. One's just dead. We're able to play the game normally for a hot second. Now this next one, we don't have to sack Luke if it fails. It's fine, just don't auto-fail. Didn't even get a failure token. We're good. God, Twilight True Magic is so strong, man. I think the play here is just gatebox and pop out next to Harvey and speedrun the location next turn. Victory is almost doable. It's almost doable. I know there's a Rook left in my deck. I draw for that in the hopes that we can go... Nice. I draw for that in the hopes that we can get the victory as well, because, like, we're testing. 5 of 8 Doom. This is appropriate for when you're in the boss fight. Spawn at a connecting location, let's throw him behind us. Hits for 2 Horror. Can't be sticking around for that, but we don't get a kin this turn. Polite Exchange, let's go ahead and surge into Brainsucker. That goes to Luke, already on the right board. I may have needed to hit upkeep, it's not the important part of the scenario. I don't care what cards I draw anymore. I guess it's still better than Emergency Cash, though. Over here, we are barely good on hand size. Yeah, cool. All right, we're going to get to do both, I think. I'm going to fingerprint kit this location as Harvey. We're up 1 million. Don't have any perceptions. I say up 1 million. We're up 4. I mean, like, honestly, that's just good enough. That beats the bag. Whoops. I grab 3 of these clues. I take my Milan money. I am going to go through the gates shortly. There's a 50% chance that go through the gates fizzles. We'll find out in a hot second. Oh, you know what? If I use rook, it forces it to fizzle. But that's stupid. I don't care. That doesn't matter. I commit burning the midnight oil on the first test. And I commit crack the case on the second test to be out 3 on both. Oh, no. Oh, never mind. Nice. That'll be 2 more resources. Good job, Harvey. Over here, like, we're basically safe. Even a failure here doesn't quite kill us. If we gatebox now, he will catch up to us and he will hit for 2 horror, resulting in the same thing, so you just take the risk. Rip Twyla, and almost rip Luke, but we're still in it. I play Mr. Rook, and I hop into and out of my gatebox over here. No action I can take matters. I'll play Emergency Cash, I guess, just to have done it. Oh, I forgot Luke's health was 1 lower because of Lumenwood Covenant. So he is dead. Could I have played that differently knowing that? Yes. Yes, I absolutely could have. Unfortunately, then that means we have to retroactively play this. I was just wrong about the state of the board. It happens sometimes. Because I would be dead to this, killing me because of Lumenwood, like, I was fine with getting any token other than the auto-fail. We just have to gatebox and walk out to leave this guy behind us and then play Mr. Rook to be safe. Is that even correct, though? Would I have made the same decision and died? No, because this gets us closer to achieving victory. I know I don't die this turn if I do this, and it lets me go take this test. It reduces the difficulty because I'm a kid. Now it's essentially difficulty 3. Plus 3 on 6, difficulty 3. With very few exceptions, those are the same thing. Looking at you, Daryl. So yeah, I would come over here and instead of doing the shriveling, I would have drawn a skull on this test, which is minus 1, 2, 3. I'd have been testing 4, 5, 6, 7 to... yeah, I would have passed, barely, but I would have passed. So that'll be 1 more token on Altar Despair. God, that's just a wreck. That would be 1 more token on Altar Despair instead of literally killing myself. He hunts, Hunter Cistern, goes again, comes here and hits immediately, killing the Rook. Actually, I would kill the Twyla instead of the Rook to have more efficient soak use because we don't need that ability anymore. Then over here, this guy hunts, but there's no additional effect. Upkeep phases. That shouldn't be in the deck anymore either. Just forgot about some of the cards when I was cleaning out the Edge of the Earth list. We lose every blood. You can't hit worse cards than this. What the fuck? Like, literally everything the deck was built around doing got ripped out of it. This is why every time I'd get through the gates, I'm like, man, I know it's soft, but like, I hate it. I'd rather have Overzealous. Overzealous would have been a better performance for Harvey than this. He's also still crushing it, by the way, for any Harvey doubters in the chat. Anyway, he's officially done fighting. 6 of 8 Doom and Evil cards. Kin traded cards can't be used. That's Milan and the text on Luke. Pocketful Understanding. Luke dies. Oh, I can't put this damage on me anyway. I had to kill the Rook. Luke doesn't die. He plays Thwarted Protection and dies on his own terms. Motherfuck. Okay, Luke just dies. This card doesn't surge because Luke just dies. Here you go, Harvey. Hope you can deal with that with no blood rights. Anyway, we're not getting victory anymore. Luke got here just in time to throw clues on the location. Also, we didn't draw an enemy this turn, so we will discard until we find an enemy. Awesome. Wonderful. The living failures are coming. So, Harvey, is there any chance of you surviving 4 horror? Yes? Cool. Technically a win, then. Can I survive 6 horror? I'm up 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. All right, Harvey, you have 1 kin, 2 kin, 3 kin. Effectively difficulty 3. We can commit 1 book, 2 book, 1 book, 1 book, 2 book. Yeah, I commit analysis on 1 of them, and that just makes it a guaranteed pass, basically. That's actually just a pass thanks to the insight, getting us the 5th resource. I do, of course, get hit for 2 horror. I commit analysis on the next one. Wait, am I greedy enough? Now the question is, do I go for victory? The answer is fuck no. Auto-fail loses the game. I commit analysis. Fingerprint kit's out of charges. I can't even do it. At the start of the turn, did I have enough cards? I didn't. Thanks, Luke. Anyway, we just use analysis and we pass the test then. We take the horror, it's fine. Get the 6 charge, and that'll be the Altar of Every Edis version completed. I didn't even show these last ones. Every enemy with kin gains Hunter here. and you're either trying to complete the ritual or just defeat her. My team pointed out it seems sort of random that these aren't the same. I think in most campaigns I'd expect this to just be one act with 2 things on it, but there's a lot of different flavor text on them, I guess is why this is happening. So I guess it's okay to do it this way for the flavor text purpose. It was a little bit off-putting to the players at my table. They're like, why are there 2 acts? Wouldn't this just be 2 objectives on 1 act? And the real answer is just there's so much flavor text it had to be 2 acts. And that's fine, but it is a little bit off-putting to some people. Anyway, that was a lot closer than it should have been, because Luke just dealt like 10 horror to himself. Fucking mystics, man. Sometimes they just play like garbage. I think I get the least joy when I play a mystic. I'm just stressed out about doing my job for no damn reason. Which I guess is the argument for running an Azure Flame instead of a Shrivel. And with only 5 soak, I'm like even more afraid of using Azure Flame. I feel better using Clairvoyance and Shriveling because then I can use Deny 5 for Horror knowing it's fixing the stat. Which I did twice. I healed 4 Horror and still died to Horror with relative ease. Oh man, Luke, get your shit together. So let's give some quick opinions on the scenario having played it a 3rd time now. First, how's the Doom Clock? The Doom Clock is a little bit on the tight side. I don't know how I did so badly on Skids and Diana. They should have done better than they did do. However, like this is a team of very competent characters that were pretty efficiently dealing with everything thrown their way. We have 2 turns left, and we never dealt with a 3rd set of living failures, so we spent a lot less time than we otherwise would have if we had drawn that earlier. We opened all the rooms, which does take more time. But that's just a random thing that can happen. You have to be able to win if you get the worst key RNG. That's not in your control. So like if this had been the red key, we would have finished on the last possible turn on this team, even though they're both great characters. And even despite hilariously the gates bullshit and not a great opening, like this is still pretty rough. I think the Doom Clock is largely fine. The way I would adjust it, I think, is by making all of these abilities on the portraits be lightning bolts. Investigators at this location spend 2-player clues as a group. I think that would help with the action tax a lot in lower player counts. Because in 3-player it actually felt fine, and I'm willing to bet in 4-player it actually feels like the Doom Clock is a little bit loose. So I think by making this a lightning bolt, you probably help out a lot with a Doom Clock. Because it seems like it's just player scaling adversely affecting an otherwise pretty tightly tuned Doom Clock. I will say that of all the scenarios in the set, so far, my team has been far and away the happiest with Altar of Despair. This version we played, where you have this going on, is terrifying. We had a couple more turns at the end in 3-player, where we were debating how do we deal with this flood of enemies coming from behind us, because we have to. And one of the issues with it being set up this way, which has to be addressed no matter what, because you have to acknowledge all the random possibilities if you make things random, is if you're trying to kill Ebrietas, but your fighter has to deal with this, what the fuck happens? And the answer is you can't. You have to do the other option. You can't stop the flood of enemies that will be coming this way and deal with Ebrietas. So I think what I would advise is to mitigate RNG in this scenario, I would stop the act randomization. The act randomization really doesn't do anything. However much work went into it, all it does is make you go to random locations. Eventually you'll get the right key, and the act randomization is not part of that. You can still have random keys at all of these places, and then the last one at the bottom being guaranteed the orphanage can just be the one where you use the key. The gameplay process has nothing to do with the act randomization, because you can set it up to always be like this. You can just have it set up, be Portrait of the First Vicar to the right of Lumen Flowers, Holy Blade, right of Bridge of Saints, and then have Provost of the Headmaster, I don't know why I call it that, the Portrait of the Headmaster, Provost Willem, right of Cathedral Sanctuary, because I really like that you come back down, meaning you're near the Resign if you choose to run away. You get the orphanage guaranteed, guaranteeing this pressure on you. I do think this means you need to reduce the health of Ebrietas a little bit to like 6 or even 4 player scaling, because if you're going to fighter, you're going to be busy on the fighting front anyway. It's going to be hectic, and I think you need to have her health be a little bit lower if you're planning on this outcome. But I think thematically, Ebrietas being next to the orphanage just should always happen. I think thematically, this flood of aliens running in, trying to stop you from killing Ebrietas is awesome. I think the gameplay pressure of this is awesome. I think the decision point for how you do this is really interesting, and it's more interesting in this variant. And I think rather than working with all the randomized act stuffs, like these portrait orders really don't matter. There's an order that would be the most flavorfully consistent that I would recommend putting them in. But I would recommend always having the orphanage lead to Ebrietas, because this specific pattern is awesome. It's why it was easily the favorite scenario we played so far at my table, and this version of the scenario is actually easily my favorite too. I think it's much better than The Hunt Begins or anything else in the set, this specific thing is fucking awesome. Additionally, this is a fight-heavy campaign. Forcing this nightmare to happen is perfectly okay in specifically this campaign. And like, oh, my character's died, I shouldn't be doing that. But like, all of my physical damage was self-inflicted. All of it. My horror damage, most of it was self-inflicted over here on Luke. All the horror damage over here was from attacks of opportunity, because my blood rights were removed from the game and my fighter died to self-inflicted horror. Like, the damage in this scenario honestly isn't that scary. On most characters, you can afford to let them run in. That's what I did do on Daniela. And it's not because it was a Daniela strat. Daniela was an alien and her ability was blanked. I was using guard dogs to kill the tiny guys when they ran in. But like, you do get in a position where the scenario really doesn't deal that much damage, and most of the guys who come in aren't hitting that hard. It's like really just the brain sucker that hits a lot. These guys hit for 1 each. This guy should have been hunting down for a while now. He probably should have caught up to us and done something. Oh well. This guy hits for 1-1. The individual aliens just aren't really that terrifying. And like, yeah, it sucks when they hunt to you, and you would prefer to have your fighters staying over here dealing with them as they show up, but it's manageable. Anyway, I love this version of the scenario. I needed to playtest this again in 2 players, and having playtested it with what I know are incredible characters, and yes, they obviously underperformed. Luke killed himself. I had all of the cards this deck is built around milled out of it. Like, the whole point of the deck is you rapidly cycle. You make ungodly money, allowing you infinite blood rights, and this rapid cycle also coincidentally hits deduction 4 times a cycle, so like you get all the clues in the world. And then I'm in 2 players, so like I can't even use deduction efficiently, much less a deduction on a fingerprint kit. And also my deductions got milled, so it didn't even matter. My funding got milled, but it's fine because eventually the blood rights got milled. This was an underperformance by these characters. But to see them only barely cutting it, like the worst RNG, they would have had no time to spare whatsoever. And in fact, I guess they would have died because these guys would have gotten here and beaten Harvey to death, right? But like, I do think this is scaled against low player counts, and the solution is to turn these into lightning bolts. Or the solution is that the lift isn't working right. Maybe the lift's supposed to be like super sick. As far as I can tell, the blue key shouldn't be in the scenario, and the lift should just enter the game. And it should just be like players as a group move. That's obviously way too overpowered, I don't know. But the point is that the lift, as it currently stands, is virtually worthless, because you have to go down and go in over and over and over again, which makes getting in the lift and off as 2 actions a nightmare. But yeah, it's an absolutely sick scenario like this. When my table finishes, I'll be posting a second Bloodborne feedback video. It's probably going live tomorrow at the rate we're currently going. And I'm going to include the stuff I'm saying here in that one. I just wanted to have a video of the specific thing I was talking about in case it's hard to conceptualize it anyway. Just how fucking cool this pressure is. Also, one more note before I leave. I think it's most of the final scenarios, but this one showcased it really well. These scenarios should deal physical damage. If the physical damage only comes from enemies, then you shouldn't be taking it. And I know that sounds really optimistic, but in reality, most times your fighter kills enemies the moment they show up. Most damage that enemies deal does not actually connect to the party, so if there's only... Like, is there actually only horror damage in the set? It feels that way. I think it's just the canonization card that does damage. Oh, there's polite exchange. Yeah, I've house ruled out some of the damage because... All right, look, let me explain. Let me fucking explain. Let me tell you why I'm so upset with polite exchange, right? Polite exchange is a card where it has a backup effect. The main thing it's supposed to do is summon a Hunter of Yharnam. Unless you make the decision that gives you a second Hunter of Yharnam, you're guaranteed to see the backup effect at least once if you shuffle the deck multiple times. If you have the backup, or the second Hunter of Yharnam rather, then it's a 50-50. You're probably going to see this some of the time. So Polite Exchange's main effect is you summon a Hunter of Yharnam. That's not that bad. On the whole, these are like moderately threatening enemies, and you can deal with 3 health enemies, you can deal with these guys. They're not that much worse than your average bigger enemy in a scenario, and they fill that role throughout the whole campaign. The backup effect will guaranteed trigger if you only have 1, because you get 2 copies of Polite Exchange and 1 Hunter. If you pick the event where you get 2 Hunters in every scenario, then it's a 50-50 that you'll see the backup effect until you shuffle the deck. Once you shuffle the deck, you're very likely seeing this backup effect over and over and over again. That's fine thematically and mechanically. It just matters what is this backup effect tuned to. Backup effects are often just gain surge. You see that a lot in the core set. Sometimes on really harsh cards, you'll see like take a damage and gain surge or something like that. Some minor effect and surge, or more likely just a minor effect. This one is if you cannot take 2 damage and this card gains surge. These are 2 of the scariest cards in all of Arkham Horror, Psychopomp Song and Death Approaches. They are Surge and Peril. You can give them to anyone, you pick who's going to take the damage. And then the next time they would take damage or horror, you take 2 additional of that and discard this card. So Death Approach is Steel Tar, so it's not directly comparable. But this is. Everyone will take horror eventually. This eventually does what Polite Exchange does. It has peril, but in exchange, you get to pick who takes the damage, which is far, far more valuable than being able to ward this on somebody else. Psychopop's Song is absolutely one of the scariest cards in the entire game. And it's just stapled onto Polite Exchange. That's why I've house ruled that damage out of the set. A backup effect of one of the strongest cards in the game. I just can't understand that. My brain refuses to process it, and I can't not play with that house rule. So yeah, it's just Madman's Epiphany and Penitence then. And Madman's Epiphany very often does next to nothing, and you can choose to take horror if it's better for you. There's not a lot of physical damage in this scenario. There's a lot of enemies that hit for small amounts of physical damage, but not very much. So on the whole, this is really aggressively tilted towards horror. Anyways, I'm done. I'm rather incoherent. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh yeah, YouTube algorithm drill. Like, comment, subscribe, help the channel grow, blah, blah, blah. You all know the drill.